How was it getting here today, Auntie? Was the weather crazy or was it okay?
It was good. A little rainy. Had a nice guy. I entertained him all the way.
Of course you did. How's your allergies? Because mine have been terrible.
Honey, I have put the wine in the wine, honey. They have nearly killed me. I tell you. Oh, thank God I love makeup. I've got it fixed.
Okay, well, thank you for being here on another episode of All the Rumors Are True. I would like to introduce Jerrie Pletcher, a.k.a. Auntie. Everyone in my life calls her Auntie because she is Auntie. She's everybody's Auntie. She is probably my favorite family member. I got to be careful, you know. I don't need to hurt some feelings.
She doesn't want to get cut out of the wheel, darling. That is the deal.
That's what it is. I'm nervous about that. I'm trying to retire soon.
There you go.
But no, she's actually my great aunt. But you know that's rude to say. We don't talk about age. So I refer to you as Auntie. Everyone around me refers to you as Auntie, and to know Auntie is to love her. I have to say that. One thing about her is, so I'm an only child from my parents. And right here, no matter what has gone on in my life, her number one thing that she's ever said to me is, I may not agree with you, but what?
I will never side against you.
That's right. And I hope that all of the listeners, the people, I hope somebody in your life has your back like that. Because I truly...
Oh, I have, but they're gone, but yes.
But I truly feel like if it only... You don't need 10 people. You need one.
You just need
the one. The one that has your back. And you have never, ever, ever... not had my back.
Always. I've been. Remember taking you dolls. Of course, that's telling your age and mine. And let's don't go into that.
No, we won't do that. No. A lady never tells her age, right? Or maybe they do. I don't know. We wouldn't know. We're the black sheep of the family, so we wouldn't. We actually wouldn't know.
I used to hide it, but when you get 87. Heading on 88.
Hey, you just said your age. You're not supposed to say
it. No, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I wanted to have you on here today. You're my biggest fan. You've always had my back. My best friend. And every time we talk, text every day, a couple times a week, but we definitely text every day. And my favorite thing is when I call you and you pick up the phone and you go, yo, what's the word?
Mighty Mill.
Yes. And you don't understand. One of my girlfriends on my birthday gave me a birthday card and she put Mighty Mill on it and she spelled mighty wrong. And she was so upset. She said Aunt Jerrie would just be astonished if she saw it.
Jerrie probably spelled it wrong too, so it doesn't matter.
No.
It's a thought that counts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I can't spell either, so that's not one of my strong suits. I don't have many strong suits, but spelling is definitely not one of them. So I wanted to have you on today, but not only because I adore you and you're my best friend, but I wanted to talk to you about, your life and, more so, where you're from, things like that. But I'm a single mother. You were a single mother. I want to talk about that for a little bit. So for our listeners, viewers, her son, his name is Todd Pletcher. He's done beyond extremely well in his life. And a few years ago, I flew Auntie to his Hall of Fame induction. And his daddy was there as well. But Todd talked about you in the speech. And so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that because I know we're family, and I just
Sure,
don't know
sure.
what it was like back then doing that. I mean, didn't you work multiple jobs and get loans and all these things? Like get more in depth about how Todd's career and journey started.
Oh, well, Todd has always known what he wanted to be. When he was a little boy, he would lay in bed with his dog and look at pictures of Ruffian, this famous mare, and he's always known what
That he wanted to be in horse
a
racing.
horse. Yes, always, and all of his friends, all the people. I've always been just Todd Pletcher's mother, all of his friends. Oh, there comes Todd's mother. It's Todd's mother. And I love it. I love being his mom. And I just thank God that I was so blessed that I could live to see my son's, of his dreams come true.
I mean, I feel like that's how it is as a parent. All you want to do in life is really
right.
That you just want your kids to have better than what you had, and you want to see them. Yeah, look at that handsome fella right there. Look at
it takes after mom.
I feel that. But go back to tell us when you and his dad divorced. He was like 13 or something.
12 going on 13.
Okay,
Yes.
and so then
we lived. I was in Texas. His daddy was out of state, and anybody's going through a divorce knows it's not good.
No,
I mean, and what's sad, it's bad on the kids.
It's bad on everybody involved.
On everybody, but one thing, it was good. Todd's dad lived in another state, so I had full custody of Todd. But Todd and his dad, Todd loved the horse racing business, and that's what his dad done. So we made an arrangement. He spent the summers with his dad and went to school with me.
Right.
The only deal was his dad, because he was an only child with him also, that every holiday until Todd went to college, he spent with his dad.
With his dad.
Which, you got to be fair. I mean,
fair is fair.
Fair is fair. Maybe it's not, there's no winners in a situation.
No, there's not. I was never married, but my parents divorced when I was very young, very, very young. I think not even like a year old or something. Like I was very young. And then I was never married, but it's not a good situation. But hell, most marriages with kids aren't good situations either. So let's not even go down that road.
No, you can't go, and you can't ask them to choose.
No,
and if you can keep yourself from it, which is not easy, you don't call them their dad or whoever what you think they really are. You got to say, wonderful, they're great.
Facts. You've always been very good about that. You're a very good example. I mean, I'm around your ex-husband very often, with all the family, and you've never been anything but on the up and up with that, for sure.
Go home like I was thinking about the other day about everybody says Todd is so stoic and doesn't show emotion, and I said, well, maybe I brought that on because when he was smaller, his dad trained racehorses. And we would lose a race, and he would throw a fit, get down, and I would have to jerk him up, and I'd say, Todd, stop. we got to walk out of here. We congratulate everybody and then go home and have this fit.
Have your
fit.
have your grand mal seizure on the floor at the house.
I said, we've got to always show class. We've got to walk out here.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I've never seen him on NBC, ABC, CBS throwing a fit. When Todd, even when he wins, he shows emotion, but he doesn't act all crazy.
I guess he's thinking my mother's going to jerk me up out the seating. And, no, Todd, we don't do. We'll go home and kick the cat or whatever.
I love it. Okay. So then Todd decides to go to Arizona State.
Absolutely.
And you stayed. So, okay. And one misconception that a lot of people have is they read the internet and the internet's wrong. Todd graduated high school from San Antonio, Texas.
Right.
Because when you Google him, it says Dallas.
Well, he was born in Dallas.
Right. But it says.
No.
So he graduated from Madison High School.
Right.
In San Antonio, Texas.
And his wife, Tracy.
Yes.
Graduated the
high school sweethearts.
High school sweethearts.
And then she went to UT, he went to Arizona, and then they reconnected and moved to New York for him to train horses when they graduated. Because I was a flower girl. We got to get a picture of that.
She was a flower girl.
Yeah.
That makes her older, not me. But I can say with Tracy is a big part of Todd's success because most people do not understand horse racers.
And they don't understand life in the limelight.
In the limelight.
Yeah.
But it is a 24-hour day. Like when Todd when he graduated from university, he came home 3 days. And I said, well, you've worked every summer. Why don't you take a trip? And he and his dad drove to New York.
From Arizona or San Antonio?
Todd met his dad and they drove. And he went to work for Wayne Lucas.
Okay.
He had worked for Charlie.
Yeah, there's Wayne right there.
And his senior year, but Charlie was in his 80s and he just had one division and Wayne had 3 or 4 divisions and was younger. So he said, I'm going to go that way. But Todd had worked for Wayne for 7 years, but the first year, I think he worked 17 months without a day off.
I mean, I believe it. He now, I think, maybe only has 7 days off a year. And he's, 56? I've never met anybody that works that much.
Horse racer's wife is like anybody's success. There's no overnight success. It's work and it's sacrifice on the families.
Well, and Todd and Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong, they have 3 children. Oh, look at that picture of you and Todd. That's when he won the Derby in 2011 or 2010. What a fabulous picture.
Was Super Saver.
Oh, what a great picture. So,
or maybe it was Always Dreaming.
I think that's Super Saver. But look at that picture. God, that's gold.
Oh, and I screamed and hollered, and the next day I was at the airport, and our picture was in the paper. Nobody recognized me. I probably was so damn hungover. I said, oh my God, we won the Derby.
I took that picture. Oh yeah, look, courtesy of Millicent Ryne with trainer Todd Pletcher and his mother Jerrie. I took that picture at the 2011 Derby, I think. So I've gone with you to the Derby. It's wild. It's wild. And Todd, so I do have to say this, even though Aunt Jerrie doesn't maybe know it, everyone knows who Jerrie Pletcher is.
Oh, yeah.
We walk in Churchill Downs, and it's Todd's mother. Todd's mother. It's Jerrie. It's Jerrie. It's Todd's mother. I mean, you're more well known than his kids. His kids walk around.
You know what? Yeah, we're talking about Coors. Mr. Lewis was a distributor of Coors in California. Well, I just marched my little self right to his box. Introduced me. Hi, I'm Todd Pletcher's mother. Todd has horses for Chanel. Both of them were there. Hi, I'm Jerrie, Todd's mother.
Everybody knows you, though. You're very famous in the stands and at the races.
I treat everybody just alike.
We know.
And I taught Todd
You'll yell at him, too.
Everybody.
Hey, no, you'll hug him, but you'll yell at him. You'll do both.
You remember, the elevator goes up, it comes back down. Don't snub them. You might meet them coming down. Honey, be real, be sincere.
Okay, so we're going to backtrack a little bit. Because the story that Todd told when he got inducted to the Hall of Fame, which I was so grateful to be a part of, but he talked about how you had 2 jobs and you took out a loan to help him do, was that to open his stable?
No, well, he called me and told me that, he wanted to go out on his own.
Okay. He wanted to leave Wayne Lucas.
Wayne, he'd been with Wayne 7 years. He thought he
had learned enough and was ready to roll.
Time to go. So I said, don't worry. Where I banked, I'd become friends with the lady that was kind of the head of it, and because her son was also Todd. His name was Todd, and I told her, I said, I went to her and I said, I had some money there, and I said, I want to take out a loan for Todd to go in business. And she said, all right, Jerrie, this is what we're going to do. Said, we're going to put this loan in Todd's name so we can establish him a credit. And Todd gave me he told me, he said, my mother backed me when I went.
He did. He did. And we're in a room full of media, famous people. We're in this room, and he gave his speech, and that was the first thing he talked about was you. And that being also a single mother that has done more for her daughter than I can even put into words. It's nice. It doesn't matter when you hear it, but it's nice when you finally do hear it. Here we are. He's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and the first thing out of his mouth, he's not talking about his wife, his kids, his dad. He's talking about you. Yeah, and it's it was a great recognition. I mean, I cried, which messed up my makeup. That annoyed me, but it's nice to hear because
nice because
we try hard for our kids, and we only have one.
Well, his dad is financially able. Every time anything comes on, he and his wife can get on a plane. Well, I'm not in that deal, and I don't. And one of his owners, Benny Viola, which you met.
Oh, he owns the Panthers, right?
The Panthers, yeah.
He was so nice. So was his wife.
He came up to me after. He said, well, Jerrie, I've learned a lot of things I didn't know about you.
No,
but an average person, they think, she's a bimbo, that's what a blonde bimbo,
She's pretty and she's got no brains.
She's got no brains.
She's all boobs and no brains.
I
think that's what a lot of people think about me too.
That's
okay.
I said, I'm a kind of a behind the scenes lady.
Well, Todd put it in front of the scenes that day.
Hey, Todd knows. I said, I
know, but I wanted to talk to you about that because not a lot of people know you've always kind of stayed, quote, behind the scenes. You're always there, but you never really say much. And Todd comes every Christmas Eve, and we all get so drunk because Todd is psychically obsessed with the Dallas Cowgirls. And oh my God, Christmas
Cowgirls.
Oh my God, Christmas Eve this last year and the year before. The one before, I think I threw up in an Uber. And I text Todd and I said, Todd's worth a couple dollars. And I text Todd and I said, are you going to reimburse me for that?
I was some good behavior. I left before then.
Well, I didn't have enough sense. So Todd has 3 kids they're 25, 23, and 21, something like that. And I'm 38. So they
love and adore a meal.
They do. And I adore them. But we get in trouble with Tracy. Tracy gets mad at us.
She wants us to get straight and narrow.
Tracy gets mad when I'm around the kids because, But I'm like, hey, we're in San Antonio. Let's watch the Cowgirls on Christmas Eve. And let's get hammered. And, baby Jesus comes tomorrow. It's fun. That's what we do. We do it every Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It's a tradition. And I love it because Todd literally works the other 364 days of the year.
Yeah.
He never has a day off. So I love it.
I laugh and tease him. I'll say Todd, and where his mind's at, and I'll say, pretend I own a horse. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk, Todd. I act like I own a horse.
Well, I remember one year at the Derby, I don't even remember. Anyway, and it was Mother's Day, and only Todd, you, and myself were still left in Kentucky, and we went to dinner
after Mother's Day. Yeah.
Oh my God! And we were just talking, and y'all know everything about horses, and me nervously because Todd is so stoic and he loves me. Obviously, we're family, but he's so stoic and. Obviously we didn't win the day before. And so I'm trying to talk to him and I just go, that horse, what do you do now? Do you just sell his semen? And I remember Todd looked at me like, you dumb bitch. What have you been have you ever read a book? All I thought of was to talk about, because I've heard them say they take the semen and then they breed.
It's called standing for stud.
Okay, well, hello. Okay, I could have used better words. And Todd looked at me. He's like, we are not related. This fucking redneck is wearing $1,000 dress and she has $1,000 education too. Get her out of here. And you didn't pay any of mine. You just were like, Mighty Mill.
That's why I'm talking about a funny story, him cutting you off. We were driving in Saratoga somewhere, and his horse had won, I think maybe 1 second, and I looked over at him and I said, Todd, I believe you need to put blinkers on that horse. And he said, wonder why I didn't think of that. He will just look at you and put you in their place. I said, darling, that's why you got mommy.
You know what?
I'll help you train those horses, baby.
You know what? You know more about horses than half the people he trains for, I'm sure. That's one thing about Auntie right here. So I'm going to give a little side note. She had a stroke 2 years ago, and I found her, and it was devastating to say the least. And you would never know today that this happened. She was nonverbal. I honestly, I thought she was dead when I found her.
I laid on the floor 2.5 days.
Yeah. It was...
Took a little rest.
Yeah. But her house looked like a goddamn Dateline episode when I walked in, and I was like, there's no way she's alive. And so the way she is now, you would never know, but I feel like that's us in our family.
Hey,
we don't let shit get us down. We get right back up.
My deal for my grandchildren
and me and Mighty Mill
and you.
Don't leave me out.
We have got no quit in us. I say I'm like a tree. Okay, you see an oak. Storm hits, it just stands there.
Right.
Take this little willow tree. That storm knocks it falls down, and it moves. I said, we may bend, but we don't break.
That's right. Right there.
And we let a storm, we let a storm, you let a storm, we let it knock us to our feet. We get up.
Right
and
there.
That
Cheers.
is one deal I tell my grandkids. And another deal of things I tell Todd and my grandkids. If you've got a problem, come to me. We can work it out. Don't go to a stranger. Always come to me.
And
Todd and I had that understanding. Our only deal was
never lie to me because I can't help you.
Never lie to me. I can't help you if you lie. And that's a rule. I say, I don't tend to Todd's business. He don't tend to mine. We have a great mutual love affair, respect.
I remember asking Todd Christmas Eve, this last one, and I said, did you? I said, did you?
Carrie was there. I think Carrie came.
He might have been.
Yeah.
But we were talking about Todd. I said, did you ever lie to your mom? And he said, no, I didn't. And I said, oh, so you would tell her? And then when he started telling me stories, and I go, well, now I see why the bond is there and so big. He goes, oh God. He was like, I'd walk in so drunk at 15 and my mom would say, where were you? And he'd say, I was with so-and-so. And she'd say, you're drunk, go to sleep. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that's why I think y'all's relationship is still so close.
I think why most people's relationship, my theory is, I never ask anybody to do something that I won't do myself.
Yep.
And I always thought it's pretty dang hard to jump a kid for something you did to yourself. I think that's why most people can't get along with their kids. It is somebody's got to be boss. Todd's daddy, I don't know if he ever spanked him. Maybe if he did, it was with a handkerchief or a Kleenex. He would tell me, now get him in the back, get him in the back. If you're going to make him mine.
Somebody has to be the bad guy.
Somebody.
You and I are definitely the bad guys.
Hey.
When it comes to raising kids, I've always had to be the bad guy. I've had to be the good and bad.
I mean, I don't care who you are. There's always rules. You may not like them, but everybody's got,
Yeah.
You make up your own rules. Some rules are more, but the main thing is a kid's got to know you love them. Like my 3 grandkids, like I tell them, you can come to grandmother with anything. I'm not going to have a stroke and, you fan me, we'll handle it. You always go to family. Don't go to strangers. Go to the people that love you.
And I do have to say, I told you I was pregnant before I told anyone else. And you said, all right, baby, let's go.
Well, my mother had a saying, I don't care what you called her. She'd say, well, darling, that's bad, but it could be worse. That was her philosophy.
Well, I mean,
and then
yours
she'd
is that
say,
too.
But we're going to get you out of it.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I haven't ever come to you with a problem that you've ever turned me away from or told me, figure it out yourself. You've always had my back. We're the black sheep. But I'm going to tell you what, I'd rather be a fucking black sheep than a snake.
Hey, like I say, I tell everybody, I've met every one of her boyfriends, and my
I've had a few of them.
And my theory is good luck. Good luck.
Hey, I ain't ever lost one I couldn't get back.
That's right.
She told me that my whole life. First off, her boyfriend's 20 years younger than her. Let's talk about that. Let's start there. But I'm going to tell you what, she told me years ago, she was laying on the ground, heart broke over that one idiot that gave me that chocolate diamond. I don't even remember his name. I think he's dead. But anyway, and she said she was so upset about him. And I go, why are you upset about him? I said, every time I come to you that I'm upset with somebody, you always say, hey, I never lost one I couldn't get back. And Mighty Mill, you're the same damn way. Yeah, he gave you that damn Lockheed brown shit necklace. She was so upset she didn't go dancing for like 3-4 weeks.
Oh my God, Mel.
You remember him?
No.
Shit.
Maybe the stroke caused it.
Hey, you know what? Maybe I should have a little mild stroke to forget some of my boyfriends too. Okay, well, we're going to wrap at that. Aunt Jerrie, I love you more than words.
Love you too, darling.
Thanks for coming on. And we're going to have you back.
And my saying used to be, may the fox outrun the hound.
Cheer, cheer.
And my latest,
What's your new one?
hopefully the wife will never meet the girlfriend.
Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all next time.